We're going to start with our torshi. Torshi in Persian is almost like saying chutney, but we didn't put much vinegar in there. I prefer to use a little bit of a lemon juice instead of the vinegar. Now, you see this, we roast our tomatoes or onions in this little weapon here. And we roast them on an open fire. Most of the Mediterranean cooking is done what they call is kababi. We have, as you know, we have 8 or 9 methods of cooking, such as sauteing, braising, stewing. In our kitchen equipment here is a 17 valve, is as long as this whole 2 tables together, which is just for kababi. It's about 2 to 3 inches away. That is different in the sense that what it is, you get a high heat, you will blister your vegetables or whatever you're cooking. If you're cooking meat, what it does, it sears it in the sense that what it is, you get a high heat, you will blister your vegetables or whatever you're cooking. If you're cooking meat, what it does, it sears it from the outside and keep the juices from the inside. Now, we do the baba ganoush this way too. We take the eggplant and cook it directly on open fire. In this case, for turshi, we get some sweet walla walla onions, some ripe Roma tomatoes, yes, and then a couple of good-sized jalapeno. In this volume here, I would say 1 jalapeno is enough. You get them nice and blistered, black, and then cool them off. We peel the black parts all off, throw it in the blender, and put in, we get a little bunch of fresh cilantro. Everything we work here is fresh. You get the juice of a lemon, we add that to that, and I got some fused garlic cloves in here. All that means you take the fresh garlic and bring your olive oil to simmer and cook the garlic in that oil. It creates magic. It loses its bitterness, and the caramelization begins with the garlic. The same thing with the tomato. One of the reasons why we cook the tomatoes, roast the tomato on open fire, we want the sugar in there to caramelize, it turns sweet. There is no sugar in that torshi, but when you're tasting it, you can detect a bit of a sweetness in there, and that comes from fire roasting. After that, it's simple. We blend it all in the blender. You taste it. If you like a little salt and pepper, you can add to it. That's what you get with the bread with us every time. You don't look for that would be our first lesson for tonight. We call it torshi. You can make that at home. It's wonderful. The item we're going to talk about is hummus. I have here some, I drained the juice from the garbanzo beans. Now if you want to get really technical, you can cook your beans. That'll work too, but I found that really doesn't make no difference. A good brand of garbanzo beans is just as good. It is just cooked for you already. We have garbanzo beans. I got some tahini. For those of you who may not know what tahini is the paste from, I'm sure the Trader Joe's have the tahini as well. Again, we have a fresh lemon juice, some cumin. I have all of this stuff in here. If you wanted to know how cumin smells or tastes, you're welcome to check it out. I do have a chopped parsley. It does make adds to it. Parsley got a nice little aroma of its own that adds to the hummus. So we put in the garbanzo beans, the fused garlic, tahini, cumin, and blend it well. And then you put in the parsley, and then check it out. Check it for if you like to put salt in it or pepper. You put it to just the plain hummus. We do have in Naan Kabab. We have 5 different kind of hummus. One of it being house hummus. We do have a basil, which we do it with fresh basil. We have roasted pepper. What we do, we take the red bell pepper, we take the 2 ends up, we open it up, and we roast it on the open fire again. to where it gets dark on the skin side and a little dark on the other side. We peel the skin and we cut it up and chop it up and add it to our hummus. Of course, we have jalapeno hummus as well. Basil, jalapeno, roasted red bell pepper, and sun-dried tomato. The last one is Istanbuli, the closest one to my heart. Polo in Persian means rice. In Spanish means chicken. It's not an Istanbuli chicken, it's Istanbuli polo. It's a farm, it's a country style of eating. Very traditional in Middle East. They make some kind of stew, whether it would meat or lamb, or beef or lamb, and once it comes to completion, they put it on the rice. And Chinese do that a lot too, and so do the Middle East. On this one here, we use some chuck tender. Chuck tender is closest meat you come to being a tender that is not very expensive. Now if you want to, and also when you cook it, it doesn't get dry. It does have some texture, some muscles in it that will keep the juices in it while it's roasted. Now if you don't have a roaster at home, you can grill the I got two pieces of chuck tender that is marinated in quite a few of spices. One that you would not believe is a coffee. Just the regular coffee. We have salt, pepper, cinnamon, turmeric. If you have not seen turmeric, I'll have some here. It's a yellow substance and it's high oxygen. In fact, the doctors suggest that also put in some saffron. The first thing you do, you put all the dry ingredients, which is cumin, saffron, a little bit of cinnamon, and then you salt and pepper. Once you rub it to the meat, then you will put all of the wet stuff. I do slice some onion, some red bell peppers, a few jalapenos, and some lemon, fresh lemon. And mix all of that. After you mix it well, then you put in the coffee. That'll give you an amazing taste, you know. Most of the people cannot detect the coffee in there, but coffee does give a lot of taste. Now I grill it, and then I slice it up to a 1 by 1.5 inch pieces. That is, I like to cook it about medium rare because once I toss it with tomatoes and olive oil, I put some extra virgin olive oil, always. No, nothing less than 100% extra virgin olive oil. You heat up the oil in the pan, throw in fresh diced tomato. Fresh diced tomato in the pan, toss it a couple of times, you don't want to overcook it. Then you throw the meat in. And at this point I'm going to stop and explain the zesty tomato sauce. We need to make that zesty tomato sauce ahead of time. This is, to me, is a magical tomato sauce. You can use it so many ways. You can just toss in your pasta in it. Will be just as good. I'll take in about 2 or 3 cups of filtered water. I bring it up to boil. You put 1 cup of tomato paste in there, mix it up, bring it to simmer. Put in your lemon juice and saffron in there and let it slowly simmer, reduces to a nice velvety texture. I put in maybe 1 spoon of some kind of hot sauce. I prefer sambal. You got a beautiful sauce that does have what? That has the lemon, it has you put in a ladle full of that sauce on your on the meat pieces that it is sauteing in with the tomato, toss it around and put in some of that zesty sauce. At the very end you put asparagus tips. It makes a nice little stew-like substance that is full of flavor. You can imagine how many different kind of spices has gone into that. By the way, we do that here every day, every day. We marinate, we cook with all the fresh ingredients. It never fails, there is no shortcut. Now you put that on a basmati rice with little saffron rice on top of it, voila, you got a stew of rice in the fashion of Istanbul. which is the capital of Turkey. Any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. All right, bon appetit, enjoy, and thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.